Hello baby gangsters, this is Calvin, also known as Romer, and this is a Tiermaker video, which is different from the usual videos we do because we just finished a major Let's Play, and that Let's Play was Danganronpa V3. The reason I'm doing a Tiermaker now is because this was requested quite a bit, and honestly it's kind of fun to do this type of stuff. I just want you to know that in this video it will be my opinion based on how good they are as a character and how much I like them personally. So if you like some of these characters, don't feel bad about this. Also, Kamaru Naegi is not in this video because I couldn't find a tier list that had all the Ultra Despair Girls characters, but we do have Danganronpa 1, 2, and V3. I will say this, she would go in the top tier, which is the Chunky Love tier. Chunky Love is the highest tier, then we go to Love to Death, then it's Good Character though, then it's the middle one, then it's they were grand. Grand in Irish is basically just like, they were okay. Go Home, which is like, hey, get out of here, I don't like them. This is, I don't like these characters as people. And then Dano is like, hey, I'm not really sure how I feel about them. We're going to rank all these characters. It's going to be fun. Kamara, by the way, would be in Chunky Love. She is one of the best protagonists, the second greatest protagonist in the history of Danganronpa after Shuichi Saihara. But let's do this. And the first character we have here is Akane. The first character we have is Akane. I'm going to put it in they were grand, because I don't have a hatred for them, but I do not like them as much as the other characters. You guys, if you know me or watch me play those games, you would know that I don't have a massive affinity towards these characters. Angie, I would put in Good Character though, because I like Angie a lot, but I think I didn't love Angie. I didn't love Angie as like that person like I did like the other characters, and these two top tiers should be for characters that I love dearly. And Angie is a character who I did like quite a bit. But there was some stuff we disagreed on. There's some stuff that we were annoyed by. But when she was gone, I did miss her, and I do think her character design is absolutely incredible too. Asahina, Chunky Love. I talk about Asahina all the time. Anyone who watches the playthroughs knows I talk about her all the time. She's so upbeat. She's such a great spirit. She grew so much as a character over the whole game. Really is just like a really uplifting appearance. Every time she's there, I feel happy. And I think that means a lot. And if she ever came back in the... You know, when I met her brother in Ultra Despair Girls, you guys know I went freaking nuts. Because she does mean the absolute goddamn world to me. She does. And like every time I point her out in the pictures as we're playing the other games, I'm just, you know, I love Asina. I really do. Okay. Celestia Ludenberg. Celestia Ludenberg, I love her motive. She just wants to be in a castle and be with a bunch of vampire boys. But I'm going to put her in Good Character though, because her reveal was great, her whole chapter was goddamn mind-numbing, but I can never love her to death because of what she did to Taka. Now, as a character, she's great. As a design, it's fantastic. I love her accent as well. I love saying Celestia Ludenberg. It's one of my favorite things to say. But beyond that, I can't put her in the higher tiers just because I think it would betray the higher tiers and how I feel about them. She would be in the middle one or even lower because of the Taka thing, but then I also have to think about it as a character, and I think they kind of overpower each other a little bit sometimes. I'm joking, by the way, with the Bagaru thing. We're going to put Bagaru in the Go Home. I don't like Bagaru as a person. I don't like him as a character. In Ultra Despair Girls, he's the best form he's ever been. But still, it wasn't enough to get him. Like, if I could, I'd put him in between here. Because in Ultra Despair Girls, he's fantastic. At the end of Danganronpa 2, Danganronpa, he has a really good moment, but I still never clicked with him. We don't have time for each other, and he scares me. I think now, though, it is kind of enemies to lovers because I do love him in a way, and I kind of love to hate him. And he's there for that reason. I do love to hate him. Chiaki. Yes. Responsible for the most I've cried ever in a Danganronpa game. Easily. Just put her up there. Chihiro. I will put them in Love to Death. I think that Chihiro is that character that like I appreciated so much, and when they were in the game, it made me feel so happy. Also at the same time, we met their family, we met their father, I think, in Ultra Despair Girls, and it did bring back all those really happy memories that we had with Chihiro. The relationship with Mondo and Taka was always beautiful, even though it ended pretty sourly. And we also got Chihiro to stay there as alter ego for nearly the rest of the game. Pretty sweet character, pretty great design, great backstory, love him. Fuyuhiko goes into Chunky Love. How could it not? How could Fuyuhiko not go there when Fuyuhiko is responsible for like the channel having a name, the channel having an identity? It's all surrounded by Fuyuhiko being called a baby gangster by Akane. So Akane, sorry that you made up the name, but he is the baby gangster, and that's why he's there. I wouldn't have called the baby gangsters if I didn't love the character of Fuyuhiko. Fuyuhiko again has an incredible journey. We saw it in the React show last week. It's a very emotional journey, and it's another character that really does go on this real character arc that you can see grow from like point A, where he's just this angry little baby gangster, to being one of the most helpful and loving baby gangsters. Gonta, I'll put him in the middle one. I liked Gonta a lot, but I don't hate him or love him to death, you know? I don't hate him at all, not even close. That's why he's not even near the go home. But middle one's because I didn't connect to him as much as anyone else. Gundam Tanaka is the same, did not connect with Gundam the same way. Hajime, I'm going to put in love to death because I think Hajime did grow as a character, did grow as a protagonist, but still, like, when I think of all the protagonists of Danganronpa, it's my 4th favorite protagonist out of the 4. And that's, you know, Hajime's great. Like, that's saying a lot because all the games are 10s to me apart from Ultra Despair Girls. But he's there. Like, he's definitely there, and he is a very strong protagonist. And even towards the end, his relationship with Chiaki is fantastic. And I love to death as a really good tier. Hifumi, we'll put in the middle one. He was weird sometimes, didn't really do crazy amount, but he was like being a bit very, very creepy sometimes. He was very creepy sometimes. Someone once accused me because he wasn't attractive. I thought he was really, I didn't support him. But it's like, Ogami isn't conventionally attractive in terms of what people think is attractiveness if you're saying Hifumi's not attractive. And I loved Ogami, so. Himiko, chunky love. Even towards the end of E3 as we were playing yesterday, she made me appreciate her so much more. I loved her accent. I love always playing around with that. Every time she said Shoichi, it you know, filled me with joy. And so much of this is about filling me with joy. She had a really cool story of like uplifting herself and becoming her own person, and when she lost Tenko and she lost Angie, but also at the same time, she's a character who like has this funny joke throughout the entire game that you think is going to probably lead to her actually doing magic, but really it's just her thing. It's her thing of thinking she actually is able to do real magic. I'm going to move on really quickly from these next two because I feel like they're actually divisive characters, so I'm sorry if I do this and you're going to be like, oh, why didn't he explain it? I'm sorry, but like, I know for a fact that I had so many discussions and arguments about this. I'm going to put this person in, we're going to put them love to death, and this, we're also going to put Ibuki in the middle one because I did not connect with them as much. The reason I'm moving on very fast is not because I'm not afraid of discussions, it's because I'm just like, this is it. This is where they're going. That's it. One is a character I didn't connect with. The other one is a character who I actually grew to like sympathize with over time. Junko Enoshima. Junko Enoshima is one of my favorite villains ever. Johann Liebert's my favorite villain of all time across media, but in Monster. But Junko Enoshima has such a presence about her. The fact that every time I hear the name Junko, I get chills. That every time I hear her name, I nearly shout because of what's about to happen. You know something is going to happen because she's a fantastic character. And I think that her presence throughout the game is even made even better by Smoothie, who tried to replicate Junko but couldn't do it, and couldn't even get the same death that Junko was able to receive that Junko loved. Kaede. We're going to put Kaede in Chunky Love. How a character having such a big presence in this game by only being there for like 2 hours or 3 hours. That's impressive. And that's a testament to how they made her into such a good character despite how good her writing is. I genuinely thought she was going to be there for a very long time. And I wouldn't mind if she's going to be there for a very long time. I thought she was going to be a great protagonist. If you count her as a protagonist, because she was for the first chapter, it would even be, she'd probably be Ao Hajime as well. I loved how she uplifted everyone. She created this base level love that everyone had for each other throughout the whole game that they could reference back to. And I think she is the reason we had such a connected character group. Kaito. We're going to put it in, We're going to put him in Chunky Love as well. A character who I did not want to talk to at first, but then after a while really loved their story, really loved how they uplifted us. The relationship between Maki, Shuichi, and Kaito is one of the most beautiful things you can have in a video game, and it legit made me cry in V3 yesterday. Kaito has an incredible amount of honor in him that isn't silly or stupid. It may be silly sometimes, but it's so fun and makes everyone else really uplifted around him that it actually works. It works for me. Soda, we're going to put in Chunky Love. I love this character's design. I love his enthusiasm. He would almost get lowered for the way he used to treat Sonya. I thought he was a bit weird with Sonya sometimes. But you guys know I love Soda. Again, I love the design. I think the design wins out on everything because it's such like an inspired design for his personality and fits his personality so well. And the voice actor did so good in fitting that personality also. Kibo. Kibo is going to go in Chunky Love 2. You can't have a finale like that in V3 and not have a freaking amazing standout performance like that and such an integral part of V3 and then not get to be in the top tier of my list. I freaking loved it. I freaking loved those moments with him. I think that like they were earned as well. How he basically became the protagonist for a while. They built up this whole thing of what's the inner voice, and it was the survey all along of the audience. It really made sense too, and it was like really integral to the final parts of those missions and those trials. He's great. Kurumi, can I be honest with you? I'm gonna put Kurumi in that don't know. I don't know how to feel about Kurumi. I don't have that same, it's not even that I don't have a connection like these ones, because I still know how I feel about them. Kurumi is just like, okay, like she was the prime minister, and I feel like that was it. That was it. I guess we have to talk to them. I think it's unfair because some of them we didn't talk to, but we eventually will. But I'm going to put her in the dunno. That's not an insult, it's just I don't know how to feel about her. Taka. Chunky Love. Chunky Love. I love this guy's appearance. I think he's super handsome. But also at the same time, it's not just about his handsomeness. It's about how he acts. He's really funny. He's very dedicated. He has this love relationship with Mondo that I think is definitely like bordering on the, erotic sometimes, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. He's had a great time with Mondo, and I thought it was pretty great. And like it transcended the comedy of the original scene of them in the sauna together, because they genuinely loved each other and had a great affinity towards each other and leaned on each other quite a bit. It was awesome. Kokichi, Chunky Love. Sorry. Oh, where is it? Sorry. Chunky Love for Kokichi. My favorite Danganronpa character of all time. At first, what attracted me to Kokichi was just how like his voice acting was really funny. He was really funny, had a great little design, he was adorable. But then as you go on throughout the game, you realize this guy like is just he loves a bit of fun. He loves a bit of attention. But really he manifests that as being like a very cruel person sometimes, when in reality, like all this time he just wants this game to end, because I think he genuinely does care about the people in this game sometimes. Like he cares about Shuichi for sure, and we know this for sure, because he loved hanging out with Shuichi for all that time. Kyo. I can't get over the finale. Kyoko. Chunky Love. Chunky Love for Kyoko. Great character, great ending, great story with Makoto. Couldn't have done it without her. Really scary sometimes, really terrifying sometimes, but she's still a freaking fantastic character. Leon, don't know. He is a funny joke, but again, I don't know him well enough, not even close to well enough, and it's the same here as well. I'm sorry, but we do not know. I don't know Koizumi well enough at all, and that's probably my fault because I didn't go into their characters enough. But it's just, I can't say if I know them well enough. I know Koizumi has a great design, great fantastic design. She's really pretty, she has a really great outfit, she's a really great design, but it's not enough for me to really be like, you know, actually no, Koizumi can go into that, they were grand. Because like, again, I feel like she gets the design part down completely. And that's like, says something. Maki, Chunky Love, right beside Kaito. For all the reasons I said with the Liars Club, I created that Liars Club between Kaito, Shuichi and Maki, who are always lying together. They're working out together. Fantastic. She also has an arc that means a lot to me too, where she goes from a character that I didn't even notice for a while to a character that like I wanted to hang out with all the time. Makoto, we're gonna put in the. It's midpoint between here. We're gonna put him in Chunky Love. It's midpoint between here. I think Makoto's fantastic. I really do, and I think he again grows throughout the game, the first game. But the reason I'm feeling weird about putting him here sometimes is just my opinion. I really feel like all the characters up here, I love them more than him, but also at the same time, I love Makoto more than I love these three characters too. So it's like midpoint. We'll say he's in between here, but we'll put him here just because like we're not mean about this. Mikan. Chunky Love. Chunky Love. Fantastic design. Great voice acting. Great character. Funny character. Absolutely terrifying at times too. I will never forget her final screen where it shows like she's the killer. Absolutely terrifying for me. But again, great design. I love her design. She's a really pretty character. Really great, as I said, really great design, great colors. And she plays also an integral part in the story too. Yeah, she's great. Miyu, we're going to put in the Chunky Love. Chunky Love. Underappreciated. Great story arc. Great character that just honestly is really smart, but doesn't get enough credit for being smart because she's really abrasive and sexual sometimes. If you read between the lines, she is kind of a very tortured soul, I feel, who just like likes to be kind of abused sometimes in terms of verbal abuse. But she's also a character who has like invented most of the things in this game that made us basically save ourselves by the end. Like without her, we could not have gotten through this game, and that's just a fact. Mondo, of course, there you go. For the same reasons as talk about that he was kind of a different character. Again, I love their relationship together. I don't like his design that much. It's a bit weird sometimes. But again, he has a fantastic backstory. He's really funny to be around. When you get to know him, he gets a little bit better as time goes on. He's not just this abrasive character who's looking to punch everybody. He's good. Monokuma, go home. Don't know. Mikuru Ikusabi. That's not... It wouldn't be fair to even rank her. Nagito, love to death, or good character though. I'm going to put him the good character though, because I do not love Nagito. I do not have him in the chunky love tier. Fantastic design. Weirdo character. And I say good character though, because this is for the list of characters who it's like, I didn't connect with them as the same way as the other characters, but I can't deny how good of a character they are. And Nagito is so important in Danganronpa 2. Without him, of course, the game wouldn't be what it is. He's terrifying. Even when I see an image of him, it's like, oh god, it's him. It's like, it's just an image. Nekomaru. Don't know. Again, I don't feel much towards Nekomaru, and that's unfortunate. Peko, we're going to put in love to death because I can't get over how fantastic the design of Peko is. Yeah, that's it. That's really it. We didn't get to know her as well as the other one. We know that she protected Fuyuhiko. We know that that's part of her story. But also at the same time, we don't know her. I keep saying at the same time because that's what I'm trying to do here. It's muddling my brain almost. She's great. She's great. Great character design. That's why she's there. Rantaro. I should put in the I don't know, but like so important to Danganronpa V3. Again, without him, it wouldn't have happened. A mysterious character that I still wanted to know more about as I was going through the game. And I feel like I wanted to see them more, but them dying actually was more important than them living, in a way. They were grand, yeah. You know, Ryoma, didn't really speak to them much, didn't really connect with them much. Very different personalities, me and Ryoma. Yeah. Ogami, love to death. I think I loved Ogami to death. It's been a while, but I had a great time with Ogami. Sayaka, they were grand. They were grand. I don't see it. I don't see it, really. I don't see it, to be honest. I don't see it. Hey, go home. What are you even doing there? Yeah, it's yeah, not really big fan. Teru can go home. Let's get the ones out of the way we don't like very much right away. Yeah, the rest of them I'm kind of a fan of. Actually, Hiro, they were grand. As much as I give him crap, he was just there. I didn't connect with him. I didn't have a good time always talking to him. He was very silly sometimes. Yeah. So the final 5 characters here. Shuichi, chunky love, the best protagonist in Danganronpa history. Such a great journey from start to finish. Even if it was kind of like you can debate on whether it's fake or real, I really feel like it is real. His growth as a character is real, even if his like journey is not this totally real. His relationship with Kaede, how he leaned on that through the whole game, how he takes off his hats and becomes basically the savior of everybody. People lean on him. Him and Kaito and Maki have a fantastic relationship. In the end, he is like very desperate to like prove one thing or the other, and he honestly like cracks the whole Danganronpa thing wide open better than anyone. It's like if there was no hope, then the game won't continue, and that was him, a great detective. Sonia, I'm gonna put in love to death, because I didn't always connect with her character. I thought she's beautiful. She has a great character design, great voice acting. It fits her so well, but I can't put her in chunky love because I love every character up here more than I love Sonia, if that makes sense. Tenko, chunky love. Wish I got to know her more. Wish I got to do the rest of her stories. She was funny. She's really funny. Great character design. Honestly, love like any girl who is buff as heck and can just like throw me over their head. You know what I mean? That's awesome. So that's why I appreciate her quite a bit. And like her ending, I think also swayed this too, because it was so sad, but it was so her in a way as well because of how much she cared about Himiko. Toko, chunky love. Ultra Despair Girls. You can't go through that journey with Kamaru and Toko and not feel this way about Toko. Toko's a whole different beast by the end of that game. I love her. I appreciate her. And she deserves to be in that chunky love section, which she wouldn't have been in if I didn't play Ultra Despair Girls, let's be honest. Smoothie. Good character, though. You know? I think that's what we have to reference here when we say what this is. You know, she's a good character. She's not a character I love. She's not a character that I appreciated throughout the whole game, but her ending and the way she becomes the mastermind is fantastic. And again, I love how she intentionally is not as good as Junko. She's intentionally not as vindictive as in Junko, and maybe as well not as like, she didn't get the same ending of appreciation that Junko did as well, because once she was up against Shuichi, she crumbled, she lost. But she masterminded this whole thing and created a whole different type of Danganronpa game for us to play. And I didn't suspect her quite a bit at all, even though apparently I accidentally predicted it. So this is the tier list. This is the characters from 1, 2, and V3. Give me your opinion down below if you think it's a bad list. Do you think I should change some people around? Did I say something in the previous Let's Play where I was like, oh, I love this character, or maybe they should be a bit higher? For me, this is the list. And I think if you guys look at my appreciation for characters throughout the entire games, you would be like, oh, that looks like Calvin's list. If you saw this list and were like, which YouTuber's list is this? You'd be like, that's Calvin's, right? At least that's the way I feel about it. Thank you guys so much for watching this. It honestly means the world to me that we got to go through Danganronpa V3 at all. And we're not done with it yet, but there's a few other extra things we can do as well. But I want to thank my patrons and the can never repay the baby gangsta tier: TieFire02, Jamie Bull, Janet the Banana, Smidge, Rachel S, Normal Cara, Felicitas Felix, George Candelaria, S. Kun, Yuld, Radish, and Polka Girl. Thank you so much for making this possible. There's more Danganronpa fan games coming. There's all that stuff we're going to be doing. We're not finished with it by a long shot. I'll see you guys very soon. Bye-bye.